All right, so we are here to learn about the last section of today's notes, which is Article 6 of the Constitution, Supremacy of the National Government. This section's main idea that you're going to fill in at the top of the notes is that this section is all about how the states interact with the federal government. Article 4 was all about how states interact with each other, and Article 6, on the other hand, is all about how states interact with the federal government. And I put a visual on there too if you wanted to screenshot it. Now, there are only a few sections you're going to need to know for these notes. These are going to be very brief. And the first is Section 2, all about supreme law. The first thing that the Founding Fathers wanted the states to know, the first thing that they really wanted to emphasize, is that the Constitution and federal laws, meaning laws that come out of Congress, and treaties are the highest laws of the land. No state can pass any law or regulation that overrides it. And the second part is that state laws must be consistent with federal laws. Again, thinking back to the Articles of Confederation, that wasn't the case. A lot of times states had very different laws than federal laws, and a lot of times states' laws actually were more superior than to the federal laws because the federal laws had no enforcement. There was no one checking to make sure that they were following through on it. So again, the general part that you need to know about this section is that the Founding Fathers wanted to make it super clear that the Constitution and federal laws are supreme. They are in charge. However, they left one sort of opening here. And it actually wasn't included in the Constitution. It actually was added as the 10th Amendment as a part of the Bill of Rights. But it's super important, so we're going to talk about it now. The amendment says, the powers not delegated to the federal government by the Constitution are reserved to the states. This is known as the elastic clause. So think like a rubber band. And the reason it's known as the elastic clause is because this stretches the power of the states. In other words, if the Constitution doesn't specifically state that a certain power belongs to the federal government, then the power automatically belongs to the states. So again, it's an elastic clause because it says that if the federal government doesn't say it, then it belongs to the state. So, for example, the federal government currently does not have a law about marijuana use. Therefore, states are allowed to decide what to do with that. The federal government doesn't say anything about speed limits. Therefore, states are allowed to regulate that on their own. So as it plays out over time, this has changed. But at the bottom of your notes, there's a table with powers that are reserved to the states. The column to the left, these are things that the federal government handles. We know these. Declaring war, maintaining the armed forces, regulating trade, admitting new states, establishing post offices is a federal job. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it is. Coining money, foreign policy, etc. The state jobs on the other side of our Venn diagram here include things like maintaining schools and education, local governments, regulating business within the state. Marriage laws, providing for public safety, that includes like the police force, right? Those all belong to the state. And then they have a few jobs here that are shared. On that table, I want you to jot down 5 of the jobs listed in the state side of the Venn diagram. Those are things that automatically go to the states because the federal government doesn't have a law on it. Okay, with that, we are done with Article 6 of the Constitution. Thank you.